I think it's an excellent thing to do, to keep writing. You may throw them all away in the end, but the thing is, you are analyzing yourself, your reactions to the world, to other human beings, and I think to keep on writing about what you feel, even though you may be embarrassing to reread, is very important for you. That is a very difficult question. I don't know why I wanted to become a writer. I just wrote because I had to write. I used to write shopping lists, and I used to write things that I used to go down the shops, and that was the extent of my writing. And eventually I thought, well, I've read so many thousands of books. It's about time I tried to write a bit myself, so I did that. Probably Charles Dickens, but I could name another 100 who are equally valuable. But Dickens, because I loved David Copperfield when I was a young lad, and I've always enjoyed him. I have to take with me Marcel Proust's À la recherche du temps perdu, translated as In Search of Lost Time. Publishing has changed exponentially. Everybody can be a writer these days, and no longer is it necessary to be an aspiring author. One just has to write and publish. Self-publishing is publishing without the advantage of commercial enterprise. It means being on your own. It means doing all the work yourself, from writing to advising, to proofreading, to projecting things, and to learning how to put it into the right format, and eventually trying to sell it. The Quagga Prize is for writers who otherwise would not be published at all. They are really writers who are, for some reason or other, locked out of the general publishing process. Well, it's for literary fiction basically, but also I have a secondary limb, as it were, for those who don't know what literary fiction is and who write otherwise in, say, science fiction or romance or some other genre. But really, the function of the Quagga Prize is to encourage people to write and to get published. The Scholar's Tale is about a failed writer, really. He's a writer who has so many ideas, but he can't get any feedback from anybody. He's a lonely guy who is what we might call a compulsive loser. He writes he writes biography, he writes fiction, he writes, in the end, he writes anything. Certainly are in my last novel, but in many of the novels I've written, I haven't had recourse to my journals at all. The Scholar's Tale is primarily an autobiographical novel, whereas Punching Judy or Confessions of Becky Sharp were ventures into other fields. The advice I would give is to keep on writing. To take no notice of what people tell you about how good you are, but just to write on what you believe in and what you think deserves encouragement.